Today is Monday, the second day of the week, so we will look at the second aliyah of Parshat Teitzeh, this week's Torah portion. The second aliyah contains the mitzvah lo tali nivlato al ha'etz regarding a condemned man who's been executed, can't leave his corpse hanging. Ki kavor tigbarenu b'yom hahu. It is a mitzvah to bury him right away, and I think very significantly, the mitzvah that we all have to bury our beloved dead as quickly as possible is from this prohibition against leaving the executed criminal exposed. Okay, halanat hamet, the prohibition of delayed burial is. This is the source for it. Okay, it's a condemned criminal. Even the more so, it's a mitzvah to speedily bury those who are not criminals, those who are beloved, dearly departed. Torah goes on to say, "Kilat Elohim talui." It is a velo titameat admatcha asher shem lechecha noten lecha nachala. It's a very challenging verse to translate. An impaled body is an affront to God. Kilat Elohim talui. Anyone impaled is somehow talui, hanging there, dead, is some sort of degradation of God, as it were. Although that phrase in Hebrew is subject to lots of different and conflicting interpretations, this English translation here is in line with Rashi, who says in the second source, "Zilzulo shel melechu." It's a degradation of the king. Shadam asui b'demut diokno, for the human being was created in God's image. Yisrael hem banav, and Israel are God's children. Mashal l'shnei achim tomim shayu domim zel zeh, two twins who look very much like one another. Echad naseh melech, echad nitpas l'shniyut v'nitla. One becomes a king, one is a highwayman who is hanged for his being a highwayman, a robber. Okay, kol haroeh oto omer hamelech toled. Anyone seeing this criminal who's hanging there dead is going to say, "Oh, the king is hanging," because they look the same. Okay, and that's the mashal, that's the metaphor, the analogy. How does this apply to this criminal? The criminal is a human being. The human being is created in the image of God. Seeing a human being, the physical body, a human being who hanging there as a dead, executed criminal is a degradation to God, because the human being is created in the image of God, and seeing a human body in that state, or maybe seeing a human being who has become a criminal, is to see the image of God degraded. Right? You can interpret this again in a very in a anthropomorphic way. Okay, the actual physical form of the human being, since it is in God's image, therefore seeing it degraded in this way is an affront to God. And in fact, I've shared this with you before. If you look at the Mishnayot in Masechet Sanhedrin, you see how it is that all of the different ancient Jewish forms of capital punishment were carried out. They were all done in ways that preserved the bodily integrity of the condemned criminal in ways you might not have expected just from reading the Torah's descriptions of these methods of capital punishment, because the body itself has to stay intact. The body is made in the image of God, which is a very clear, almost literal understanding of these biblical concepts of humanity being created in the image of God. If you understand it in a more less physical, less anthropomorphic way, you can say that it's our capacity to choose good and evil, is our spiritual capacity and potential. That's what is created in the image of God. And seeing the condemned criminal is a degradation of affront to God, because a human being who had so much potential for good ended up in a bad way. And so seeing the brother of the king hanging, oh my goodness, they're going to say the king is this one hanging. One epitomizes law and order, the other is a criminal. Or in the anthropomorphic version of this metaphor, these two twin brothers look very much alike, and that's the cause of this affront to the king, seeing the brother hanging. Right? We had an example of this in Boston. Right? There was that leader in the State House who had a brother who was a mobster, right? Whitey Bulger, I think was his name, was also an FBI informant. Very complicated situation, maybe analogous to this metaphor described in Rashi. Wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.